Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. I am thrilled that we have Mary Beth here with us. She's an anti-aging expert, and she's been on the show before. So this is the second time appearance because it was very interesting to have her as a guest first time. So, Mary Beth, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Oh, well, thank you, Tony. Thank you for having me on the show again. As you said, my name is Mary Beth Newell, and I live in Sarasota, Florida, in the United States. And I have been a registered nurse for almost 45 years. And I also have a master's degree in science. And I wrote a book called Anti-Aging and Secrets of Healthy Living to Stop the Clock.
Wow, excellent. Yeah. So, can you please tell us a little bit more about the book? Like, I mean, it's about anti-aging and stuff. So,
Mhm.
what actually inspired you to write this book?
I was inspired because for about the last 15 or 20 years, when people found out how old I was, they kept on asking me, "What are you doing?" And I thought everybody knew all the different processes and practices that I was doing, but I found out people didn't know these things. And so they would repeatedly tell me, "You should write a book." And when I heard that enough times, I finally decided, okay, I want to share my knowledge because what I have in the book is it's all natural, holistic. So the practices that I and tips I have in the book are they don't involve Botox, injectables, plastic surgery. It's all things that you can do naturally. And Tony, what I find is that most people know what they should be doing, don't know how to fit it into their lives. And so that's another thing that I like to give people ideas on how can you incorporate the good practices for exercise or nutrition or self-care or skincare into your daily routine when most people have super busy lives.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's really interesting point that you're saying that most people have busy lives because most of the time when we think about fixes, people are sort of focused on the quick fixes. Like Botox, I believe, is really quick fix. You just go there, you get like injection, and then you your face blows up. But then it says, it's so. Can you tell us a little bit more about any tips on what should people do instead?
Okay. Well, there are different things that you can do for skincare. Now, I mean, people may want to go the Botox and injectable route, but if people don't, a lot of times they don't know what are some of the other options that are out there. So, one of the things is to exercise your face, just like we exercise our arms or our legs to get our muscles to get nice and toned. You can do the same thing with your face. So, one of the exercises that you can do, and I think it's so funny because as little kids, when we were learning our vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and you'd say it over and over again, trying to memorize it so you knew what the vowels were. Well, as adults, if we really exaggerate how we say our vowels, you're actually exercising your face and you're going to tone up your face. And that's something you can do anywhere. You can do it in the car. You can do it in the shower. You can do it as you're working. You can practice your exercises for your face. Something else that I've been doing, so I use needles, but not the needles for injectables or Botox, but I've been going for facial acupuncture for about 10 years. And so what the facial acupuncture does is they stick a whole bunch of needles in your face. Sometimes she sticks them in my tummy or my legs. But the purpose of the facial acupuncture is not only to help you develop more collagen and get rid of fine lines, but it's to balance your energy on the inside as well as the outside. And the nice thing about facial acupuncture is that it restores your natural look to your face. Where sometimes when people go for plastic surgery, Botox, or injectables, sometimes they get a bizarre look. They
Yeah.
don't even really look like themselves anymore. So a lot of people aren't even aware that you can do that with facial acupuncture. And then the other thing that I like to do that people may not be as familiar with, but it's becoming very popular for a lot of different reasons, is red light therapy. So use these red lights. You can get panels, or even on the TV, you're seeing commercials for these masks that people put on with the red light. But the red light does the same thing as helping to minimize fine lines, help to develop your collagen. And the red light therapy doesn't take that long. What I do when I use it is I set my alarm for maybe 15 minutes earlier than I want to get up, and I have my panels next to my bed. So I just turn them on and put them on, and then I get up and start on my day. So those are some tips for skincare that people might not be familiar with.
Wonderful, wonderful. I guess in your book, they'll have more details on that. And then it's interesting that you're actually talking about this practicing the valves, because if people are really injecting with some of those things, like for example, Botox is, as we know, one of the most poisonous things on earth, and putting that into the body, it may sound like, oh yeah, but it's just a small amount and things like that. But it's really the reason why the face stays like that is because it gets paralyzed, really.
Right.
Yeah. So, do we want to really like paralyze ourselves or like practice something for a little bit every day? That's the question for our audience, and maybe someone who reads your book as well. So, really, really great point there. And yeah, if someone wants to actually find out a little bit more, or actually, buy your book, where they can do that.
Well, my book is available in Kindle and paperback format. It's on Amazon, and any Amazon, doesn't matter where you live. If you go to Amazon, you can find it, or Barnes and Noble, which is a bookstore. You can also get it through Barnes and Noble, either online or they may have it in the store too.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's fantastic. Now, another thing that I wanted to also ask is, how long does it take for someone to practice this?
Well, you really want these things. It's not a one and done. It's so funny, Tony, because the first time I learned about the acupuncture, I was on a cruise, and it was part of a spa package. So I went, I thought, oh, okay, you get it done and you're done. It's like, no, you have to, you start this and it's a process. But once you sort of jump started, and it's once a month that you go for, your maintenance. But I think the thing is, just like when the beginning of the year comes and everyone makes their New Year's resolutions and you're all gung ho for a few weeks doing things, really it's better to start out slower and make it a consistent practice in your life. One of the things that I like to tell people is a lot of people have their fitness trackers, and they like to get their 10,000 steps in. And the 10,000 steps was actually a marketing um, program that a pedometer company came up with. They just made up the number to get 10,000 steps. But since then, there has been research that was done to say, well, how many steps do you need? What benefit do getting your steps in, what does that provide? So if you get about 2,700 steps, which for most people is about a mile in a day, you're getting about a mile, your chance of dying early goes down by 8%, and your chance of having a significant cardiovascular event, such as a stroke or a heart attack, goes down by 11%. But if you get 9,000 steps, so you don't even need 10, if you get 9,000 steps, your chances of dying early go down 60%. So instead of 8 to 60%, and then those icky cardiovascular events your risk of those is cut in half. So it's like, okay, so we need to get our steps, but not everybody has an hour a day to go to the gym or go for a run outside. So different tips that I like to give people is the one is park as far away as possible from the grocery store, your office, shopping, wherever you're going. And there's a
Barnes
couple,
Label, yeah, as well. If you
yeah,
go to buy your
yeah,
books,
yeah,
they have this. They have this huge parking lots there. Yeah,
yeah. Well, and then the benefit of that, it's like twofold. So sometimes people get stressed when you're going up and down the aisles trying to find the closest parking spot, and you see one and you're rushing to get over there. So it actually saves you time if you just say, I'm going to pick the one that's farthest away.
yeah,
You go and you park. You're not going to have any trouble finding a parking spot. There probably isn't anybody else around, so your car isn't going to get dinged by somebody,
exactly.
accidentally hitting your car, and you're probably going to get an extra 500 steps in, and there's no cortisol rush because you're not stressed trying to find that parking spot that's the closest.
Wow, such a good, such a good point, and very simple, and anyone can apply that. Really well, well said. Thank you very much for that, Mary Beth. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like. Check out the book from Mary Beth, and yeah, see you all in the next episode. All the best, and bye bye.